In moments of stress or conflict, you always seem to do the same thing. Maybe you shut down completely. Maybe you people-please your way through it. Maybe you fight back hard or disappear entirely. And no matter how many times you tell yourself you will respond differently, the same pattern shows up again. That is not a coincidence. That is not a character flaw. That is your attachment style and your trauma response working together. And until you understand how they connect, that pattern will keep running your life. Attachment is the way we emotionally bond with other people, and it does not start in your adult relationships. It starts in childhood. The way your earliest caregivers responded to your needs, consistently or inconsistently, safely or unpredictably, shaped the blueprint your nervous system uses to navigate every relationship since. There are two broad categories: secure and insecure. Securely attached people feel safe in relationships. They can express needs without fear, handle conflict without it feeling catastrophic, and trust that connection is available. Insecure attachment, which is far more common than most people realize, breaks into three specific types, each with its own automatic stress responses: fight, flight, freeze, and fawn. These are not personality traits. They are automatic nervous system reactions to a perceived threat. They exist to protect you, not to connect you, and that distinction matters enormously in relationships. Fight means asserting power through raised voices, verbal aggression, or dominating conversation. Flight means removing yourself physically or emotionally. Freeze means getting stuck, going blank, being unable to speak or act. Fawn means people-pleasing, over-accommodating, saying yes when you mean no. These responses do not show up randomly. They show up in predictable patterns based on your attachment style. The anxiously attached person has one core fear above everything else: abandonment. Losing the connection feels like losing safety itself. So when stress hits, their nervous system asks one question: what do I need to do to keep this relationship intact? The answer is almost never to fight, because fighting risks the relationship. The answer is almost never to leave, because leaving triggers the abandonment they fear most. So they freeze and they fawn. They overthink every word. They go quiet when they should speak up. They people-please and over-apologize, not because they want to, but because their nervous system has decided that keeping the peace is the only way to keep the connection. From the outside, it can look like patience. From the inside, it feels like being trapped, unable to advocate for yourself, unable to leave, unable to do anything but manage the other person's emotions at the cost of your own. Where the anxious person fears abandonment, the avoidant person fears something different: engulfment. Loss of self, being consumed by the relationship or by someone else's emotional needs. Their nervous system learned early that depending on others was not safe, that closeness came with cost. So they developed a different strategy: preserve yourself first. When stress hits, their responses are fight and flight. They push back hard. They create distance. They leave, physically or emotionally, before the situation can get worse. They shut down conversations that feel too close, too vulnerable, too demanding. From the outside, this can look like strength or independence. From the inside, and from the partner's side, it often feels like walls, coldness, and an inability to stay present when things get real. Disorganized attachment is the most complex and often the most painful to live with. The disorganized person has both anxious and avoidant tendencies simultaneously. They want closeness, and they fear it at the same time. This usually develops in environments where the caregiver was both a source of comfort and a source of fear. The result is a nervous system with no consistent strategy, so they can access any or all of the 4 trauma responses, sometimes within the same conversation. They might fight, then freeze, then fawn, then flee. This inconsistency is not instability of character. It is the nervous system doing the best it can with a blueprint built in chaos. Secure attachment is not just something you are born with or not. It is something you can move toward deliberately. It comes down to 3 things. First, identify when the anxiety is happening in real time, not after the fact. Learn to notice the physical signals that your nervous system is activating. That awareness is the first interruption of the automatic pattern. Second, Understand the context. Ask yourself whether this situation is genuinely threatening, or whether your nervous system is responding to something old. That question creates space between stimulus and response. Third, sit with the feeling and learn to tolerate it. Instead of immediately acting on the trauma response, practice staying with the discomfort. Let your body return to a calm baseline and then respond rather than react. That gap between stimulus and response is where everything changes. Your attachment style is not your destiny. Your trauma responses are not your personality. They are patterns built for protection, not for connection, and patterns can change.